can hear me over the asteroid. You can hear my question over the asteroid discussion. Ooh. Did it ask you to agree to the recording? Yeah,
It did, yes.
Yeah.
Just did, yes. I mentioned that they're working on banning TikTok.
Yeah. They've been talking about that for years.
What's that?
They've been talking about that for years.
Yeah, there's actually a bill though this time for vote.
How that works out.
Well, it's going to make YouTube more popular.
Oh, yeah.
The stories.
But it's going to be an interesting, those kids are really addicted, you know?
Yeah.
Mm.
Which is why I think that they're putting, partly also why they're putting that live effect on YouTube to go live. Because if TikTok, you'd probably see different.
Being Human, the show that solves the world. Is it a mirror image? You can read it, right?
Yes.
It's not mirrored. That's one of my goals. This is like, I don't know how old. Just found it.
Let me see it again. We're saying the Being Human, the show that solves the world.
Yeah. Which is kind of what we're doing, circling. And yeah, you know how people want to save the world? I want to solve it like a puzzle, you know?
All right.
In the delusion. I did work today. I feel good. Like I did stuff. Oh my God, I hate that word adulting. I swear I never used the word and then I just used it.
When? Today?
Right now, just that second, you know? But I wasn't really adulting because I was getting ready for a fun podcast thing. I guess it's kind of confusing. Like I want to keep the childlike wonder in this process. But it is still like having to sort files and download. You know, I downloaded a bunch of Zooms I'd recorded since been paying for Zoom for like a couple years now. But I haven't really like approached it like an adult, you know. I'm just kind of like, oh, there's some files. I don't know where they are. Deborah and I were doing some Zooms when she was in Mexico during the pandemic because she teaches Qigong and I was interviewing her about that. So there's all kinds of, that's what I was doing today. And I have one I saved on there. Everything else I deleted, but the one I saved on there, I'm sitting back at that pool and I'm just like, welcome to the show. And I'm just messing around. When I saved. So what do you want to do? Did you watch the Bill Maher?
I did. I just watched that. And that's, yeah, like I'm saying, that's what that's the way things pan out. But it also reminds me of this girl I was dating before. When I was like, yeah, I know it's better to be positive and, you know, manifest positivity, but I'm saying like we can't really go through the world assuming or like pretending that everybody else is doing the right thing. Statistically, we're having to deal with people that, you know, they're not have your best interest. They're just doing whatever they need to do to survive. And that, on average, you know, it's like, you know, it doesn't work out in your favor. So I mean, that's like a businesses is about taking money. You got to figure out a way to take money. And a lot of these businesses are not, I don't think that they're legitimate. They're not like real, like all these, like, as I'm looking for all these business opportunities on how to like make money, and there are all these like click funnels to get you to buy their program. but there's nothing really behind these programs. It's about them getting their sale, you know? So it's just, I don't know, it's just the way we built this thing. It's not,
This thing meaning the world or
the world, the
our
structure,
economy?
this capitalist structure, it's not designed to do the right thing. It's designed to, to make money.
Right.
So, and then people don't, well, anyway, it's just putting yourself in the weeds by talking about all this stuff. But anyway, it's funny, Bill Maher using the example of private jets. And I believe that the way he said, there's two groups of people, the ones that fly private and the ones that wish they could.
No one said, what if they could?
Yeah, that would if they could. That's
And
pretty
then there's
much
Ed Begley
exactly.
Jr. and the other, and there's two other people. That's it.
Yeah. So I
I'm
mean,
not
that's
sure
a,
that girl can afford to fly. I don't know if she's making money on her. Greta. Greta's her name. I don't know how rich
yeah,
Ed Begley is either.
she put herself in a pickle there because I'm sure that she has probably flown private since then, where she has to be somewhere. And someone with a private jet says, "Well, you can come with me." And what's she going to do? Like, no, I'm
There
going to go
is
fly.
a way that Bill didn't mention, and this is one of the things that I'm watching him and I want to comment on. Like there, you can buy carbon credits. I know it's like kind of out there, or people didn't want to shift the economy that way, the way that the Al Gore was talking about it. But you can go and like purchase land. It's not really land. Somebody explained it to me recently, but you can buy clean coal. You can do something to offset the carbon you burn if you're that rich, and they all could be doing that in
Yeah,
Hoboken County.
carbon credits.
For the equal parts, like this is how much fuel you're burning in the atmosphere with your private jet. Now you're rich enough, offset it.
Yeah, all they've got to do actually is pass the law to, for things that are extravagant like that. Unfortunately, all the people that would work on making the law and
Right.
passing it would be the ones that
That's
would have to pay it.
yeah, it's too infected. So that's why I really want to, attempt to push through social media, push this idea of like holding the billionaires accountable and having us pay attention to what they do instead of what like actor celebrities are doing. Like, how we have TMZ following around like actors, like we need a TMZ that follows around billionaires and what they're doing. And even if they can't see them, like, tracking like how much like the private, just this one example, flying private, but also celebrating the billionaires that do good with their money and then pointing out to the ones that don't, and using social pressure to like force them to be like, oh, of course I carbon offset it. Of course I did, because I'm being watched by the public. You know what I'm saying? Like that's a far away, but it's possible.
Yeah, yeah. Well, okay, yeah, but I mean, like that's so far outside of what what we're gonna do, what we can't do, and there's so many holes in that. I mean, I don't think it makes much sense to talk about that.
Okay.
Like my friend, he's very, very wealthy, and then all the girls that I know would die to go traveling with him, and they wouldn't think twice about it. So, and then you have like Elon Musk, who flies private, but he's actually taken care of a lot. And he's built a lot, so it kind of makes sense that
He's
he gets to where
hilarious.
he
He
gets to where.
he has all these talks about how AI is going to be like this big problem for us, right?
Yeah. Yes.
And he's investing in one of the GPT. He's involved. He's one of the main investors in the latest technology of
Yeah.
AI.
Yeah, but I totally understand it because they would do the exact same thing. So he's like the main investor in OpenAI. So I think
He's
that's,
like, this is the greatest threat to humanity, and I'm investing in it at the same time.
I know that sounds strange, but it makes 100% sense to me though, because I kind of I look at things in the same way. So what he's saying is that he realizes how powerful it is and what it's capable of doing. Like he really understands it. Now, because it's out and people can play with it, and this is like an infant version of what's even going to be released by the end of the year. which is crazy. And
I
this
know.
thing has already passed, like the business exam, it passed the
Medical,
bar exam, the medical exam. Exactly. It's like it's already like past the average human. But the point though, what he's saying is that I know how powerful it is and how bad, how
he
crazy it is.
wants to be in control of it. I get
Well,
that.
because there's other people that are now they can see how powerful it is that they're going to have to try, like Russia is probably in China. They're feverishly right now dumping money and trying to create the same thing. And with that thing now, when you have someone who's like second tier, like Putin, he's got Asperger's, his health is failing, but he's like a masculine, like egotistical narcissist, where it's a win at all cost.
Mhm.
Where at least Elon Musk seems to be aware and conscious and wants to do the right thing and is driven by a dream, not to be controlling or to be like a basically an alpha ape.
Saying he's basically a good person
Yes, I would say he's basically a good person.
against
I
the
would.
philosophy that most humans aren't good. You're giving him the good salute.
Oh, I give him the good salute completely. Yes,
See,
I
that's
do.
what I'm talking about. This is what I mean. Like the good salute is like we're doing it right now. We're like giving him like he's a past billionaire. You know what I mean? Like we're doing it right now. The thing that
Well, okay, if we're in we're some corner in some apartment somewhere, we're giving someone an award.
yeah, hey, it
Okay.
could go viral. And
Yeah,
everybody
well,
will copy us.
I say he falls right into like the good people, but you have people that run these countries and they at all costs just want to be number one, like these guys in these gangs that want to just like fight over who controls a street, because it's all ego. It's all control, like, oh, I'm a better fighter, or I'll kick your ass, or don't disrespect me, and like all that type of stuff. It's just ape. It's just ape mentality. And now these people, what's crazy is you're literally giving an ape an AK-47. You're giving him a machine gun, right? And what do you think the ape's going to do? It's like, oh my, it's outside of its control. You can't. He's like, I can now just disseminate or wait. How do you say that word?
Disseminate?
Decimate. You
Decimate.
can just decimate. So they're going to do it without any type of I'm at a lost words right now, but it's about winning basically. So these people, we don't want them to get their hands on AI because we already saw that there's private government sponsored hacking organizations inside of China and Iran and Russia, and their full intent is to just start working on how to penetrate and destroy American infrastructure, right? Well, instead of hiring like the top 1,000 people and having to find them and then deal with the personality types of who's going to defect, who's going to sell secrets, all those factors don't even exist, and a team of 10,000 can't even compare to AI. This AI is so superior. You literally ask it, how do I hack this? How do I hack that? And because it has access to all of this data, it actually gives you the answers. Like it really does. It's like it's superior to what humans are capable of doing in a fraction of the time. And this is like the infant stage of it. So Elon Musk is right on. I've known that he's right on for like years, but people just think I'm nuts because I think that he's right. But now because his ChatGPT's out and people can see it for themselves, they now have some idea. And that's nothing compared to what it's capable of doing and what you can really do it. And they block the data it has access to because people are going on there. How do I build a bomb? How do I hack this? How do I hack that? And it was giving them the information. So they shut it down and they went in there and had to build more rules and say, like, don't give this. But now think about this. When you are a government agency, you basically say, okay, this is all this data set. This is 20% of the data that we do not want. For instance, did you know that the internet that you use is only like 10% of the internet? The dark web is a major component of the web, the internet. We only see a fraction of the internet. In AI, you need like a special browser to read the darknet and all that type of stuff. And you need to know like the secret websites and stuff. But when you have access to the internet and the ARP tables and the routers and all the traffic, you can then pick up on the existence of all of these nodes basically. But with AI, you're able to get them all at once and you're able to understand them. It's so ridiculous. I mean,
I'm
that's
not
why it's not a
surprised
cage.
that we don't access the internet, all of the internet. What it always feels like when I do a search is like I can't even scratch the surface. Like I can't get past the stupid sponsors on the search.
That's right. Yeah.
You
Which
know
is
what I
also,
mean? It's just like, how do I get anywhere now? It just seems like I'm stuck on the surface corporate sponsors of websites and I can't get any data from deeper.
well, that's a whole other situation.
Yeah. So
That's another topic.
I don't doubt that there's way more to the internet than I can see. Let me tell you that. That's for
Well, to tie those things together though, with this chat GPT, you can actually ask it for what you were looking for. And it actually gives you the answer instead of you having to weed through
sure.
all
Right.
these websites. So the pages of like Google, and it gives you all the advertisements, and then you have to go look to see if that link is not just clickbait. Actually, the information you want is there.
It doesn't answer questions. When you type in a question on a Google, it doesn't give you the answer. It gives you websites with those words in it, but it's like, what do I feed my dog that won't eat? And I mean, that one's a little bit more simple, but some of them, it's just like, I have a very specific question and it'll pull words out of my words in the search, but it doesn't see it as a question. It sees it as a bunch of words to search. That's how,
Yeah.
that's how the results come, it doesn't come like, here's the answer to your question. So,
And because there's enough humans that are not inherently good, there's a lot of them writing articles for those keywords that don't actually give the information that you're actually asking for, but they don't care. They don't care that your dog is dying. They care that you clicked on the page. Right. So they're literally flooding. Google's flooded with a bunch of misinformation and crap just so you get to click.
Yeah.
To make that money. So there's just too much bad out there.
Yeah, but can the forces of good, I mean, this is like Star Wars. Like, can the forces of good fight the imperialists? Imperialism. And I like to look at it like that and not race or not like, who founded America. It's imperialist because there were imperialist kings in Africa that participated in the slave trade that were not white. And so this is going to be like cut this part out, but like it's fighting the imperialists that come from the stuff you're talking about, the corporate greed that's based in the structure of what a corporation is. But I just also look at our country and like we're in America and like you pull back and you look at the globe and you look at this land space and like we're the first ones that just went like across the land. I mean, Europe kind of was already settled across, but such a small area compared, right? We just went whoosh, forest gone, like across. And now they're doing it in China and they're doing, you know what I mean? It's just like, we started.
I blame Lewis and Clark for all that.
I blame the human nature to explore and to want to see more and curiosity, and wanting to get there faster. Let's build bigger roads and let's build these freeways. And Route 66 used to have cute little towns, and then they put the highway and all those little towns went bye-bye. And I just was like, this is the country I'm in. Like, I want to be mad. I want to, you know what I mean? The human nature to find something to point the blame at. And I'm like, wait, we invented the internet. We invented the car. We invented electricity. I think steam was already invented before our country. Like, I don't have exact details, but you know what I mean? If we didn't invent the engine that burns the fuel, would
Well, actually, most people don't know this, but we had motors. We had motors back then. There was electric cars from the beginning.
Oh yeah, there was electric trolley or whatever you call it in LA. electric transportation on the tracks.
Hmm.
And they took them out, the car companies and big time tire companies got rid of our public transportation so they could sell more cars and make us need cars. So this non-goodness goes way back and way back. And it's imperial,
Yeah,
it's like pyramid scheme, capitalism, but then we live in this world where if you speak of something opposing to capitalism, you're called a communist. And it's like, no, I'm not a communist. I don't think everyone should have equal this or that. I just don't think that the bottom line, when you produce a product, that the bottom line of money shouldn't trump clean air, water, and safety for people and animals. Doesn't make me a communist, though, does it?
well, I think that's just idealist. That's the problem I see with this whole thing, because I've seen many girls like these guys that I know that have ill-gotten gains, but they do not care. They don't care. It's just who has the money and that's it, period. Done. So until,
Do you think they're happy?
do I think they're happy? They're happier.
Their misery is they're more comfortable. Their misery sits in
They're,
a more comfortable place with a better view.
they're less miserable.
Hmm.
They're still miserable people. Like they say, money doesn't change you. It just makes you more of who you were.
If you've chased that, I just don't know how you'd have the capacity to go to the depths of what really is juicy about being alive and, connecting and love and presence. I just don't know.
Yeah, it's a really weird time. I think social media is just, well, because everything's like commercials. What you see is what you end up mimicking.
Mm-hmm.
That's why it's so important to be around the right people.
Mm-hmm.
Oh well. Uh so yeah, I know. So when I was in the steam room yesterday, I'm gonna end up doing my I'm gonna have to convert everything over to Mr. Concise. I find it to be more marketable, so I'm gonna have to create an Instagram that's not so ostentatious, like mine. They
Mm-hmm.
make it more like normal. So it's like socially acceptable.
Wow, I don't know yours. What's going on?
My Instagram.
Yeah.
Well, I even got rid of like half the pictures already of me like hanging out with groups of girls,
That kind of thing.
because people just judge and stuff like that.
Yeah,
And
I was wondering what happened to you all these years. Like, it's like, is he still partying that hard? Is he still living like that? And I've been really pleasantly and enjoying you, I'm not like, you don't seem like what I thought you'd be with I thought you were just going down that. Maybe I did see some of your photos here and there, of like, it looks like what you think from that imagery, looks like what you think is important is status and good looks and like, who being seen with the right people, and which isn't all bad. It just doesn't, is maybe not what you want to brand yourself now.
yeah, well, see, that's the catch-22. Everybody wants that, right? But I just get it out of just sheer circumstance. Like I just wind up in it. But I have to hide it because people judge it. So I've been like slowly taking it off my Instagram because people want to just think and assume stuff. So, but I'm not like a lot of those people that are actually chasing it. I'm like, I wind up in it. So it's just good fortune, I think, is what it is. It's just good fortune.
Oh, did you hear the part in Bill Maher about like the number one thing he's done for the environment is not have kids?
Oh yeah, I thought that was interesting.
Because I'm like, you and I, woohoo. Oh no, wait, you had a kid.
I have a daughter, yeah, but I wasn't trying to.
So sorry. You're not like a stay-at-home dad raising a kid, so I forgot you did produce, so never mind.
Yeah, but I wasn't trying to. But again, crazy girl story. Tells me it's not mine, told another guy it was his, then they get a divorce, or she gets an annulment, that way she can come after me for child support. I find out that it's mine that way.
It's sad.
This is so crazy what this woman did. And what's really tough is that I don't think my daughter knows the story. She just thinks that I wasn't around, like I didn't care. So
How
I
old
mean,
is
at
she
some
now?
point, huh?
How old is she?
She's 16. But at some point, she's going to hear the real story. Like, hey, like, and the thing was, when I moved away, is because the mother was having anxiety attacks, like
Moved
debilitating,
to, moved away from where?
debilitating, debilitating anxiety attacks, and even wound up in the hospital.
Where
And
did you, this is before you moved to Hollywood?
no, this is before I moved out to Denver. And me, because I'm a little more aware, I
You lost sound. I lost you. Lost you all completely. Well, how are we gonna do this? Change the world by being ourselves.
all right, you there?
Yeah.
Okay, so debilitating anxiety attacks, and I was like, oh man, I know exactly what that is. That's because the thing that's the most important to her is her daughter. Technically, this would be our daughter. And she's worried that I'm going to try to get visitation and, disrupt their perfect little life where she just has full control and everything. And as soon as I moved to Denver, she was cured.
Wow.
Yeah, which is exactly what I thought it was. And that was the only way I would be able to prove it to myself. So I was like, you know what? I don't have to be here. The situation is really bad. And every time I see them, she has everything laid out like a program where I can't deviate from it at all. Like, we're going to do this. We're going to be at this time. If you can't do it, then tough luck. And I played that game.
Isn't your 16-year-old now ready to come see you on her own terms without the mother involved at all? 2 years from now?
Yeah, but even now though, she just got her car.
Yeah.
She just got it like a month ago. So she's free to drive almost anywhere she wants now. But she hasn't said like, oh, I want to come see you, which she could. But she also doesn't know the story. I think that she thinks that I just left because I didn't care. Because how am I going to have that conversation? By the way, let me tell you about what your mother did.
Yeah.
It's freaking weird. It's like, you can't even do that. So I like that famous fable. You ever heard that fable or that story where it's that one monk that says, is that so? Is that so, monk? You
Yeah.
remember that?
I vaguely know what you're talking about.
He lived in the tree in the forest.
I mean, yeah, I've heard it, just don't have
And
it.
there's a woman that got pregnant, that I think was married but got pregnant in town. And they're trying to find out who it was. Well, no, I'm sorry. There was this woman that got pregnant, but she wasn't married. So they wondered, who is it? And they're like, oh, it's the monk in the forest. Right. And then everybody goes there and up and angry, like, oh, you got this woman pregnant, you have to pay, da 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 da. All he says was, is that so? Is that so? And then the kid is born, then they drop off the kid. Is that so? Is that so? He takes care of the kid. Then and it turns out there's this guy in town. And then they come to take away the kid. He's like, is that so? Is that so? You just deal with it as it goes. And I didn't cause no big trouble. I didn't sue anybody. I didn't say I want that kid to have my name. I didn't say I want to have my visitation. I want my kid to have my religion. I didn't do all that stuff that the regular people do, because I saw that her life was turning out to be really, really good, even though what the mother was doing, the way she handled me and the way, because what's the other thing that's really bad? I find out several years later that the guy was in on it, and so was her parents. The entire family, everybody knew that it wasn't his kid. And they all played along with it because they knew they had no control over me.
Because they saw your Instagram.
Well, anyway.
It all sort of worked out, I guess. Is that so?
So I just literally, it turns out when I heard that fable, it hit me like hard. I was like, whoa, I'm like, that's exactly how I handle. I literally went monk mode on that. Like, is that so? Okay, fine. I'll step away. Is that what's going to calm you? So you don't have anxiety attacks? You're not debilitated, or you wind up in a hospital because you can't verbalize that you're afraid or you want to work with me? I had to read everything on my own. But what I'm telling you now, as as unknown to everybody else and my daughter, and I just say something, people think I'm crazy, but then within like 10 years from now, easily within 10 years, probably it might even be a YouTube channel where my daughter, or a movie or a documentary, who knows, where she finally hears the truth along these lines of like, hey, this is actually what happened. I left because your mother was literally in the hospital because they knew what they did was wrong, and she's so worried that I was going to get what I was owed. Do you know what I mean? Like, it was all within my power. And I'm like, okay, being like the more conscious human, I was like, okay, I'll just have to step away. And sure enough, it was exactly as I thought. And then they're like, they sent me a message, oh, we miss you. And then it became like really nice. I'm like, it was so funny. But my daughter, unfortunately, my daughter still thinks I left, which that's the part that's really, really tough. So one, that monk story really, really hit me. But the other thing that hit me really, really hard was in the movie, and I love this movie, Blade Runner, the second one.
Oh, really? The second one? Jeff's favorite. First one. He loved the second one too.
Yeah, the first one's good. The second one though, as being an actor too, and then doing that type of work and dystopian and understanding more like what the world's really like. I really like that world, and I seem to be spending more and more time by myself, which is exactly the way like Harrison Ford was living. You just want because most people they're just out for themselves. People just can't seem to team up. It's just people can't. Everybody's like me, 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 me. Um, um, anyway, there's a line in there. What is it? Blade Runner 2022? What's it? What's the name of the movie?
I
I
forget.
can't believe I can't remember what they called the new Blade Runner. Oh my God.
It's fun that you like it because it's interesting because we don't go to the movies or anything, and we've been together 8 years, and I think the only movie theater and movie we've ever seen is Blade Runner, the new one.
2049. It's called 2049.
Like that's
And
like so cool. Like that's like the only movie that Jeff was ever motivated to see in a theater.
cool. Well, oh, what's that other movie I just saw that was similar? Oh man, I can't. What is going on with my memory? I think I have too many things on my mind because I was just at this girl's house and we watched this movie. Well, I don't remember. Whatever. It's a bit similar. It's dystopian, just like 2049. Um. Anyway, there's a scene with Harrison Ford. It's when they finally found him and he's living in that casino in Vegas that abandoned. Obviously, the whole area is abandoned. And he talks about Gosling and asks him, why didn't you go see your daughter? Don't you care? Like, how could you do that? He's all, my part in the plan was to leave. And then the quote, that's the reason, right? Or, that it was methodical, what he did, right? But the line he said was, sometimes to love somebody is to stay away. It's something like that.
To love somebody is to stay away.
Yeah.
Sometimes to love somebody.
Sometimes yeah.
It's not like it's not like he's telling everyone if you love someone, stay away.
No, because if he went to see his daughter or anything, then she would be dissected because she was like the only human born from a robot.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, I think I got to see it again now that with your you know hurt.
Sometimes to love someone, you got to be a stranger.
Right. So you're letting her have a healthy relationship with her mother.
Yes.
If she'd find, and maybe when she's old enough, but if she'd found that out especially with teen hormones, when she's gonna already be rebellious, most likely. I don't know
Oh
how.
no, she's won the award for the best child at a private school.
Well, then you are to, like, had she known the story, that might not be true.
Yeah. Oh no, I did everything. I think that was the best way to do it.
You know, if
Because
she could hate her, if she could see what her mother did to you and how selfish her mother was, that took her biological father away from her being able to hold her as a baby, which is very amazing. Like, it's like free drugs, like the oxytocin and like the bonding. It's like nothing you can get as the adult, two adults. You can't create that with two adults. You can't create that holding a 5-year-old. I mean, you can, well, love and bond, but there's really a drug. I don't know if you've held very many babies. It's incredible.
I think one or two. It's a really odd feeling. It's just too powerful.
It takes a few hours. It doesn't, it's not like 10 minutes, but like I've held a lot of babies, but I've only held one for, the first time I held one for a few hours is when it happened. And I was like, oh shit. This is, this, I would have had a few more. I would have had some.
I know I was really uncomfortable. I was so uncomfortable. Like I'm very physically capable, right? But I found it to be way too important that I was nervous holding it because I didn't want to have any type of accident.
But this is at 3 years old. Or when did you meet her?
No, I'm talking about when I held an infant.
Oh, different infant, not the,
Yeah,
yeah.
no, some other infant. I
Right,
remember
of course.
I
And
held it, I was
I'm
like,
with
oh
you
my.
too. Like, I've held so many before this one that I held for longer, where I was with people that were comfortable, people that were relaxed, and they sat me on the couch and put him in my arms, and she had to cook and clean. She's a chef and everything. She had to do her thing, and she just said, please, can you just hold him? And it was like 2 or 3 hours. And all of a sudden, I'm an observer of life. I'm like, this is like my passion, and like, what is being human, and all the things we're talking about with circling. And I'm like holding this thing, and I'm like, I love him. Like, it just started happening. And I'm like, this is something beyond. I've like read about it in books, and I'm like, oh, I missed this with my nieces. I missed this with Connie's kids. I didn't know. I was scared to hold babies. I didn't
Yeah.
know. I missed out on so much because I had no idea of that magic. And as a person who kind of used to enjoy recreational enhanced experiences, like free drugs. You don't need ecstasy, just hold.
Yeah, yeah.
And I was 45 at the time, I think. And so 44. And it was like, I could have just jumped in and had one right then, but I didn't have the stability, and I didn't have a partner who wanted to. And here I am
Yeah.
without a child. And I don't have kids, but I did donate eggs once. So I'm not as good as Bill Maher anyway.
Well, you're gonna have another chance, actually, believe it or not.
At 50.
Yeah, check this out. So I have mentioned that we're very soon gonna stop aging. I've been telling people this for like 10 years because I've been watching the science and I know it's capable, what's going to be capable. And only now, finally, 10 years later, is the news actually starting to come out in actual real research. I'm sorry, real huge strides in it.
Mm-hmm.
But there's like 9 factors of aging.
Mm-hmm.
And we've diagnosed all of them. And we actually are in the process of being able to stop all of them. And then, like, for instance, there's several species that don't age. Did you know lobsters don't age? Did you know that?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, most people don't know that there's even creatures alive that do not age.
Mm.
Well, you're doing something you do.
Sorry, yeah. I was thinking about turtles, the Galapagos, that they lived 120, but they eventually
That's different. That's different.
It scares me because I've heard of this before, and I've heard about like the possibility of humans not dying, and it angers me.
Why?
I would love to live forever, but you know what's going to happen. People
What?
we're talking about that run the world, and the imperialists and the people that aren't good, they're the only ones that are going to be able to access this.
No, that's not true.
You think it's going to go mainstream?
Yes.
And you think we're going to be And then there's the other feeling like we're going to miss the boat, that our bodies are going to be aged too late, like that's going to help the younger ones.
Well, it's 100% going to obviously statistically help the younger ones. But however, we're right at the cusp.
Okay. So what's your info? Like what's the anything, is it like drug based? Are we going to clean the environment so we're not toxified by radiation and cell waves and pollution? I mean,
Okay.
what's the key?
Okay. So you mentioned many things, and there's actually several things, but one thing about, let me just tackle the radiation, for instance. They're the most durable animal is called the water bear. I forgot the actual technical term for it. It's actually called a water bear. You can look it up. It's like this little
Never
tiny
heard of
little,
it.
yeah, it's a tiny little creature, which actually can even live in space. It could
Yeah.
actually be frozen. Yes, it can actually deal with the most highest temperature too. But it actually can deal with radiation and repair its DNA 6 times better than we can. So we're going to be able to gene edit that capability into our bodies, so then we'll actually be more susceptible to actually do space travel. So that's just radiation.
I think that we'll make it in our lifetime.
Oh yes, for sure. Yeah.
And one question, very specific personally, like, did you vaccinate for COVID?
No.
Like, so do you think it's going to only apply to the unvaccinated?
What's that?
That
What?
we could get gene repairs? Like, do you think people who vaccinated, that what they've done to themselves is going to be irreversible?
Well, it's not irreversible. Okay, technically, right now in today's world, whatever is in your genes or your DNA is irreversible. It is. However, with gene editing, you can edit it and then you can edit it back.
There is some science that you can actually change your genetic code in other ways too, like through meditation and other ways.
That's epigenetics.
There's some wiggle room and things like that.
That's epigenetics.
Um,
But you can't meditate a virus out of you.
so okay, so you're saying it's fair game, like it doesn't matter if you're vaccinated or not. That you're not saying like that this isn't going to be like
Okay,
probably want to apply
because
to diabetics, like it's too late.
because we're talking about vaccination and people is such a big trigger point, I'm gonna just say this part. My girlfriend I was dating got COVID,
Yeah.
and I told her that I was immune to it, and she laughed at me.
Yeah.
And so I was making out with her,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And then we went and took the COVID test,
Yeah.
and I was negative. So then her and my sister and some other friends were like all pissed off. They're like, "Oh no, the test has errors. You have to do one of those other BCR or whatever, without the other test." So I went and took the other test too, and I was negative. So I don't know.
Did you get sick at all in 2019?
I I
At the
I didn't
end?
get, I no, I didn't really get sick. I didn't get sick. I wore myself out from having too good of a time. So if you don't sleep because you're like having a good time,
I'm just
your body.
worried because some people I think got COVID in 2019 before it was a thing, and I think a lot of us are immune.
Uh,
I'm immune too,
oh, excellent, good.
but sadly, I took the stupid vaccine and it messed me up. And within 20 minutes of the shot, my left side of my face went numb, and
Oh,
yeah.
Damn. Well, let me tell you what that reminds me of something that was very funny about human nature. God, I'm so sorry that happened. You're probably like all nervous that you did that now.
I was really, it's like I took it for the team, and I really looked at it like I didn't want to, and I was so scared. I was so scared more than anything in my life, and I'm like, I have taken the strangest designer pharmaceuticals from strangers at festivals. Like if I can take 2CI, 2CB, Foxy, like I mean, there's a long list. Like, why can't I do? And I wanted to not be selfish. Like in the beginning, it was like it's for stop the spread, it's for the greater good, and it's not about you. And I'm like, okay, I'll do it. But I didn't want it for me. I wasn't afraid for me and my health. I was like taking it for the team, and I convinced myself that it's got to be no worse than street drugs, but it is, or for me it was.
Hmm.
So yeah, I do regret it, but I remember everything about it. I convinced myself. My friend's dad's a doctor, and he watches Fox News, and I thought he was gonna talk me out of it, and he was like, "Oh, they've been doing mRNA for 10 years. It's fine." So then I did it, but no, I'm still trying to get it out of my body. Like, I don't know, and I'm not. But anyway, I am very immune to COVID. I have cleaned my rental house a few times when people have told me they had COVID, and I forgot. Like I'm so trained to how I clean. Like I'll smell pillows and I'll smell things to see if they were used. You know, we have like 7 beds, and sometimes 4 people stay, and they don't use all the beds. You know, so I'm like grabbing sheets and like holding it right here. I'm like, oh my god, they had COVID, throwing it like down, like like just so. I went in there and stripped the beds, and then we had a fogger come. He wouldn't go in his little hazmat suit until I stripped the beds. And I went in multiple times. And then I stayed at Amparo's house one night, slept in her house, and she had COVID the next day, like really bad. I mean, it's just, I've been exposed a lot. I never had it, and tested and tested and tested. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
yeah, I could be a spreader, but I've never had, I don't know if I can. I don't know if I've given it to anyone, but
Oh man.
yeah, and people, I wouldn't just say that to anybody, because they will totally say that's crazy, you're full of shit. Like, but I know I just know. But I was really sick in 2019, and I had something November-ish, December, and I have 2 friends that were traveling a lot. Like, one was in Shanghai, like November and December. He got out of Shanghai the day before they locked China
Wow.
down, because his company works in both places, here, Irvine and Shanghai. And I was so sick, but I didn't know what COVID was. If I knew what COVID was and I was that sick, I would have been sicker. But I just thought I had a cold that was the worst cold I ever had. And then I thought I was going to die, but I just thought it was a cold. So the thoughts like I'm going to die because your body is just fighting so hard. And like, it didn't, if people were dying of the same thing and I thought I was going to die, that would have really affected my immune system and my ability to fight it. But I didn't know it wasn't even a thing. And then I kind of like couldn't shake it. And it lingered. It was like this weird lingering thing, and it would kind of come back, and I'd cough a little bit more, but then it was gone by 2022. I was totally healthy. And then we didn't even really discover COVID and start locking down here until March. But
Wow, so you got it very early.
so yeah, that's partly like, because that since I've been so immune all this time, like, so we really think I must have had it. And my another friend,
So you had a nice, good, clean source.
the original,
You had the original one, yeah, the real good one.
yeah, it was like, it felt like I got hit by a truck. Like it was a weird sickness, but it's just like, okay, I'm sick, I can't move, I can't get out, I had no energy, all the things, this weird cough. But I think I get exposed to it a lot. And then I do the deep breathing. I do a lot of Qigong Monday through Thursdays with Deborah. And
Oh,
the reason I love Qigong, and I'm sorry that I love talking about enhanced experiences with pharmaceuticals, which is very mainstream now, and mushrooms are legal in different places, and there's just a lot of science of how helpful these things are. So I don't feel as bad as I used to when I would talk about it.
yeah.
But I lost my train of thought I got distracted by
Qigong and deep breathing.
the breathing.
Deep breathings.
So every time I get exposed to COVID, which I swear was a lot, like cleaning or being with people that had it or whatever, I would do the breathing, and I could feel it on the exhale. I can tell the difference when I'm fighting, when I've been exposed and I'm exhaling it out. There's this like wheeze that's almost mechanical. It's like a machine, like feels very much made in a lab. I don't know if that's true or not, but when it goes, it's like the sound of like an alien warship in a movie. The way as I'm exhaling, it has this wheeze that I don't think it's audible or whatever. And then when I'm not exposed, my exhale is very different. But the reason I was talking about pharmaceuticals and enhancements again was the reason I loved Qigong, or I fell in love with it and do the practice. You move your hands and you do different things as you're inhaling and exhaling, but it's really about like the breath. For me, it's nice to have, it's like rubbing your head and your belly at the same, you're breathing, you're doing multiple things at once, which is a cool practice for the brain. But the breathing practice in that is in the nose, out the mouth, and just continuous in a strong pull. And have you heard of holotropic breathing?
No.
It's not very mainstream because I don't allow people to share it on YouTube because it's so dangerous because you get high. And it's was developed when they were studying LSD at like Harvard or whichever school, one of the big schools or multiple, they made it illegal. So the big famous guys continued to just do LSD and spread it, like Timothy Leary and all this stuff. And like they stopped being professors at the schools. But the people who were working on LSD that continued to be professors studied how to get the same symptoms as LSD, like experience, without LSD. And they developed this breath. And it's holotropic. And I've done it once, and you have a guide and they hold your hands down and you're like, almost feel like, and you keep doing this very heavy pull in the nose, out the mouth. And you yawn, don't yawn, just keep breathing. You want to cough, just breathe through the cough. You want to burp, breathe. You don't stop this pull. And like they're holding your hands down, your body starts to convulse and your hands start to like crump in and you're like physically in pain. You just keep pulling and keep pulling. I think I did it for like 30 or 40 minutes. And then I was like,
That's a long time.
yeah, it's intense to get high like LSD. But it was on my birthday in 2019 that I did it. I had the guide at like 4 o'clock in the afternoon, and I tripped like I was on LSD until about midnight.
What?
Didn't want a sip of alcohol. Had the best time. Felt high. I don't know if you've ever done LSD, but you feel like you're a kid. Everything's connected. Like the whole universe makes sense. It was incredible. But you can't even do the breath on your own for 30 to 40 minutes. You'll stop. I don't know how you could force yourself to do it. And the way they do it in workshops, somebody's holding your hand and like coaching you, keep going. Like you're having a baby. Don't stop breathing. And they watch you. Like if you take a small breath deeper, like they're on, like you just, so anyway, micro holotropic breathing when I do the Qigong. And then that's another reason why I think I don't get COVID, because it wants to stick into your lungs and I push it out. Like it's bye-bye. You're not sticking in here.
That's cool. I like that. Well, I know deep breaths are very, very important. There's a lot of science behind it, but I do conscious deep breaths often because I'd have to look up the article and actually quote the actual science instead of me just paraphrasing what I remember. But a deep breath, there's a big difference physiologically when you actually do a conscious deep breath, and as far as like body repair and health and stuff like that. So yeah, it's very, very, very important. And then matter of fact, that's at the core of what Wim Hof does.
Mm-hmm.
The Iceman, it's the breathing and the breathing technique.
Yeah. I like that. I just shared that story, and I'm just going to make a note, and I think we should start making notes as we go. Like, how on YouTube's they have the little tabs of like,
yes,
what this next subject is.
Yeah, like 2049, my daughter, holotropic breathing.
Yeah. So it's January 30th. I mean, I only know it's 5 o'clock. I don't know how I'd find it right now, but
we'll have to watch it again.
I love sharing that story, and I would like to not have to repeat it 1,000 more times. I feel like I got it pretty good, right there. Right?
Yeah, I actually looked it up here on my computer, sitting on my screen here. I'm going to read it after we get off the phone.
Tell me if you find any that give instructions, because you can't, last time I searched, they don't allow any trainers or anybody to put instructions on the internet because it's so dangerous. Like, people have different experiences on LSD, and it really can create, and like, if you are already psychotic or, some people who do LSD can become schizophrenic. Like it's not for everybody, you know what I mean? So
Yes.
they don't want, so let me know if you can find anybody that teaches it. They might talk about it, but if they teach it, I'm really curious, because last I saw, like, it's
Well, I think that
locked
this,
down.
this question and answer I found right here on the screen is pretty interesting. It says, what does, oh wait, here it is. Is holotropic breath work just hyperventilating? Question mark. And then it says, holotropic breathing is essentially voluntary hyperventilation.
No, because hyper is you're using your breath just up high when you hyperventilate.
Yeah.
It's up here. Holotropic, you're getting all the air out of your complete cycle. You're pulling, it's a pull for your whole cycle, and there's no dead air in the bottom of your lungs. You're pushing it all out. And then the inhale kind of takes care of itself, because if you push all the air out, then the inhale. Keep pulling it up. It's so not hyperventilating. That is, I did hyperventilating as a kid. You get high from that too. It's different though. And then you pass
But
out.
here, well, let me read what it says. Let me read what it says. Is holotropic breath work just hyperventilating? Holotropic breath work is essentially voluntary hyperventilation, and old technique gaining in popularity as a way of generating spiritual experiences. Many, if not all, cultures managed to find plant-based hallucinogens in the local environment. Oh, I don't know. But anyway, that's what it said.
Right, which it recreates the plant-based hallucinogen.
Yeah, interesting.
But I don't know how I loved it and it was amazing, but I really would not sit here and do it for half an hour. There's just, my brain will stop. My brain, even just a yawn will take you out of it. Like, and you want to yawn. Your body wants to do something else. It wants to run from it. You know, it's like wants to make an excuse. I can't keep breathing. I have to burp. I have to cough. And the coach is like, keep going. You know, like there's something about like, you know, being able to do that by yourself. I don't know. I can't. I don't know. So maybe somebody can, but it's not maybe if you've done it a ton of times with a guide, eventually you can train yourself to do
Okay,
it.
here we go. Here we go. So it says, can you do it at home? But here's another one. It says, how is holotropic breathwork done? The process involves breathing at a fast rate for minutes to hours. This changes the balance between carbon dioxide and oxygen in the body. You are guided through the exercise by someone who is trained in this emotional release modality.
Yeah, you start crying. It's a lot.
Yeah, that's what I noticed when I did that breath of fire yoga.
Yeah.
Sounds similar. And yeah, some of the girls in the class are like crying.
And
So
that
like,
I love Breath of Fire. I do it often, but that is also a little bit higher up in the chest, and you're trying to push it all out, but like going that fast, you don't
oh yeah,
really.
that's right. That is a little bit different than what you're saying. Deep, real deep breaths.
Breath of Fire is awesome. I enjoy that very much, but I haven't had a 9-hour, hallucinogenic experience afterwards. I mean, you get high. You can get high from any breath work, really, but like to the depth, and I've done a ton, but nothing was like that. And then it just kept me sticking with this Qigong practice because I'm doing my holotropic, but in a subtle way. And I'm not like crying and like, but I love doing Qigong. I love sharing Qigong with people and sharing the holotropic breath with them. Like, don't just do inhale and exhale out your mouth and Qigong, like effort it, like pull it, like get it all out. And I swear that exhale, I have been like, oh, I was at a party the other night, and this time I do Qigong Monday through Thursday for like 4 years now or something.
You
And
have?
yeah,
Huh.
it's on
Okay.
Zoom. That's why I'm always like after 1, because I do it at noon Monday through Thursdays. It's a Zoom thing with Deborah.
Oh, okay.
And so, but I could tell I've done it so much I can track like how different my exhales will sound. And I can hear it sounds like a spaceship type of machine of a wheeze when I've been exposed to COVID. The exhale becomes like a space agey, like not an exhale I know, like an exhale that happened. I did Qigong before the pandemic too. So it's like this new sound, like I can hear COVID coming out of me. And so all of it, you think you're immune, like I'm overboard on all my COVID stuff. And then when anybody gets COVID, I have like this whole protocol that I tell them about, and they think I'm insane, but I'm like, go in the sun and open your mouth. Get the UV light in your mouth. I get it in my ears, like one of the times I cleaned the house, I started to feel fatigued, and I think it was coming, to get me. And I did all this sun stuff and got it out of my ears. And there's actually, Jeff is so into the COVID, all he watches is COVID medical. What do we call YouTubes? Like, they're not podcasts, but they kind of are, He watches all these medical podcasts on YouTube.
Jeff?
My partner.
Yeah, Jeff, your partner.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
6 hours a day he watches this stuff. Like I said, he has a lot of free time.
Yeah, that's funny because that's like, I like to go, I don't watch like really TV at all, other than once in a while I want to watch a movie, make some popcorn and you kind of just zone out. Maybe, well, when I had a girlfriend, when I had a girlfriend, it was like a couple, maybe once a week, maybe
Netflix
twice.
and chill.
Yeah. Well, it was half a Netflix and chill because she wasn't very sexual. So it was just Netflix and chill. Not the cliche.
On topic of what I've been doing with the UV and all this stuff for years now, just today, Jeff watched a video where one of the doctors was like, we could have changed this whole pandemic by just prescribing zinc and sunlight. And like this, one of these like big time doctors that's been studying COVID for a while is like, that could have made this huge difference. And people think I'm crazy when it's like, UV light is like this massive cure. And people were like, oh, you can't go. People were not going to the beach in the beginning. And I'm like, I was on it.
Yeah, that's why it was so crazy when they shut down all the tennis courts and they put sand inside of the skate park in Venice. And that was like the worst thing you could have done. Like, it's like, so it was so dumb.
So dumb. And that virus can live in the UV light. And I had this intuition about it. Like, wait, they're selling UV things for your phones to clean your phones. They were selling UV lights.
Yeah,
it's like it's unsafe to be outside.
Yeah, just put it in the sunlight. Open the window.
Yeah. So yeah, I did not ever. I had a pretty good pandemic. I did not lock down. I went out and did outdoor things. I had group camping events all throughout it. Nobody got COVID at any of my camping events. Not once, but they did at their indoor parties. They did it.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, I'm pretty, I have a lot to say on that. And like, people still judge me as it, but I was so cool to hear today that one of the big time doctors who's got millions of views, who's been talking about COVID for 2.5 years or whatever, he just came out with the data. Like those guys only talk if there's data. I'm just using personal experience. I'm not like, here's a study to back up what I'm saying, but he has the studies now and his, like it's all coming into the light. Ha ha.
And what did he say?
Well, he's saying that the pandemic would have maybe not even really been a pandemic if the prescription would have been take some zinc and get in the sunlight.
Oh, right.
Instead of get hospitalized away from the sun. Like they took people out of the sun and put them in hospitals. And if they had just put all those people in the sunlight, it would have been a huge difference. That's the data talking.
Okay.
Not some Yahoo opinion person like me. Like this is a medical doctor with that would only speak from studies, So
your Instagram.
Yeah.
Changing subjects back to marketing and business.
Yeah.
Your Instagram, when I looked for it today, was Shara JoyCry still.
Okay.
Are you going to change that to Dr. JoyCry?
Yeah, I thought I did.
Okay. Well, make sure of that, because when I had to find you or search you, because they sent you that thing on sleep.
So I can figure this out, edit. Yeah. Oh, I changed the name, oh, there it is, user.
Okay, cool. So you're fixing it now?
I don't know.
Um,
Maybe I didn't push save or something. Submit. Maybe they didn't accept it. Just submit. Did it work?
well, you're only allowed to change it once a week. So if you're able to change it, that means that you probably didn't submit before.
It's probably been a week knowing me. So I put Dr. JoyCry as the handle and Dr. JoyCry as my name. So it says both now. Is that right?
Let me do a search for you and see if I find you that way. Well, I sent you this Instagram story on sleep, and it was this most likely a doctor talking to Joe Rogan, and he said that just 1 hour of sleep makes like sleep makes a huge difference. And he said that every year we do this test with humans,
Mhm.
like 1.7 billion humans. We do this test called daylight savings time.
Yeah.
And he says that when we lose an hour, there's a 25% uptick in heart attacks. Okay.
Okay.
And then when we gain an hour of sleep, coincidentally, there's a 24% drop in sleep. So it's like
When you
sleep
gain
is
an hour, there's 24% out drop in sleep or heart attacks.
heart attacks, which is just crazy the way that statistic or that math works out. But there's so many things with sleep and how important it is. But anyway, I sent you that because I thought that'd be interesting, something we could talk about.
Yeah, I think we should watch the whole, I guess, I don't know if you have Spotify.
I do have Spotify.
We can got that guy that went on Rogan, that guy probably goes on everybody. So we just get that guy's name and watch him on one of the other ones. Oh, you do have Spotify? So we have Rogan.
I do. But what guy are you talking about?
The guy that was on Rogan talking about
Oh, I sent you the link.
I was looking at it, whatever his name is.
Yeah.
It has
I don't know. I haven't seen him before.
But it just says invest, earn, save. It's got some ads all over it. It's like the guy's name is far away here.
Hold on, let me try to look for you.
Here we go. I think it's good.
Yeah, so it works now because now you're showing up as Dr. JoyCry.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Wait, it's all lower. Is it always all lowercase?
Yes, that's the way it is for domains and handles. So
Okay.
I have to go take care of something.
Yep, sounds good. 5:30.
But yeah, I just want to give you a little more. Let's just finish up this thing with the marketing. So that's good. You just fixed that. I'm going to have to do my Dr. Concise because I for several reasons.
Yeah.
It's just a lot harder to go and try to sell, or not sell, but I couldn't sell my name. I wouldn't want to do that. But Dr. Concise, Mr. Concise is something I could sell later if I wanted to.
Yeah.
And then also, like we were saying before, it's like people are fine with following a group or an organization or a company, but not a person,
Yeah.
It's funny with the way, the human nature is. So for those reasons, I'm going to go and I'm going to rebrand as Dr. or Mr. Concise for Instagram. And so it's going to be a new account and it's going to be just all professional. And it'll have some of my tech stuff on there, but it'll just be professional and just photos of me, no girls. And then the YouTube channel will just be Mr. Concise. And then for us, the one that we're doing in between, like we're really just talking very widely. It isn't like we're just talking about circling. So, and because we jump around and we're just doing free form, I was thinking more and more that it doesn't really work to create this like circling thing. Like, but let's say later on where we have some money coming in from our channels, it would then make sense to hire, like a marketing team to help with, well, it's also marketing falls hand in hand with editing. So hiring the editor, then filing, and then hiring the person that's going to help with which basically be like an assistant with editing things down and then separating things that would be like part of circling and whatever else. I can see where in the future, maybe we could do that, but right now it does not make sense. So, and the part where I'm now, where the rubber meets the road for me and what I'm trying to figure out, which is why it's taking me a little longer to figure out exactly how we're going to do this for our stuff, is that YouTube doesn't like it when I go and post the exact same thing on another channel. So if I were to grab something that's viral and just put it on my channel, then we'll get nothing from it. So I can't go and get the full clip and put it on mine and then put the full clip on yours.
Yeah.
We've got to make it somewhat different. Yeah. So what I'm thinking is, because okay, I think I just figured it out. Every time we have the full length, we're going to go and strip out clips out of it, because we need the clips, because YouTube is in 16:9. And all the stories are in 9:16, because they're portrait. Okay. So the first week we'll put the full clip on your channel,
Okay.
which is Dr. JoyCry. And then we'll put all which I guess on mine will only be the stories on the shorts. Well, we could do both, actually. I think we're just going to alternate. Basically, we're just going to alternate the large one. Or you know what we can do though? Actually, I got even a better one. You know what? I just got it. It's because they seem to be pretty long anyway. We're just going to break it out into 30-minute slots, because that way they're not too long, right? 30 minutes, 30 minutes, 3 minutes. And then we'll put, however it pans out, we'll just keep going round robin and the same thing. So let's say the first one's 90 minutes and it's 3. It'll be 1, yours, 2, mine, 3, yours. And then the next one will be mine. So if it's 2, it's yours and mine. If it's 3, it's like yours, mine, yours, and then back. You know what I'm saying? So every other 30-minute session, we're just going to alternate. So we could put the shorts and the stories on both of our
We're
accounts.
not going to make a separate YouTube now, you're saying? We're not
No, exactly. Not a separate YouTube, yeah.
Okay.
Because technically right now, for the lack of better title right now, the other channel right now, because it's just free form, would be the joint, it would be like the Yvonne and Mike show. JoyCry and Concise, Mr. Concise. It's like Dr. JoyCry, Mr. Concise show.
Mhm.
I mean, that's basically what it is, in a way. Because it's just free form. It's just like humans talking. It'll be like the humans talking channel. You know what I mean? 'Cause it's just,
Podcast that I watch, like everything that's out there right now, like humans talking.
well, it would be like just another human talking. Humans chatting.
Yeah,
I
loved all the ideas you had in the circling though. I'm kind of sad here.
Well, but that's a separate thing. That's when we just focus on circling. So let's say, see, right now I still have to work. I'm still trying. I'm still work. I have to leave to go take care of a client, right? And I have to go and make my channel so I can start making some money with my channel. My channel starts making money, I gladly go and pay for the editor and the marketing people, so I don't have to do this work myself. So right now I'm doing all that work on Audition, actually working. So it's a lot, right? And then to go and pack another channel on top of that, no, I just can't do it. So I have to make sure that I limit myself so success is possible and not dilute myself so then nothing is successful. Okay. That's why I only have so much available.
I'm still like doing a lot of circling, training on it, and I have my YouTubes are separated. So I have my Dr. JoyCry that we changed, but I already have another YouTube that's just all dedicated to circling. So maybe I just leave that one instead of moving that all
You
over.
have a channel. You have a channel already that's dedicated to circling?
Yeah, the 17-minute YouTube I sent you, that's only videos are on there that are about circling, I'm pretty sure. It's a different channel.
Okay, under my history, which I still need to finish yours, there it is. It says, what is circling? Oh, that says Shara JoyCry.
Yeah, same name. It's a different channel. The other one's Dr.
Oh.
JoyCry now.
Okay, cool. So you
One
got to
that I'm
come up with,
talking to Oprah on and stuff, that's Dr. JoyCry.
okay, cool. All right. Well then,
So I've already fragmented myself, and then you were like, say, hey, do it all together at one. And I'm like, that sounds cool. And then but I could still keep circling separate.
yes, perfect. So what I'm doing with you is open forum, okay, right? So we're just going to do what we said before. We're just going to do we're going to do round robin with our
Eventually we're gonna comment on I think right now, like, we're hashing out who we are and what we have to say in a sense. And then I know it feels good for me to get these things out. I'm like, oh, I got holotropic breathing out today. Like, great. And then take our you and me talking to these big time people who are talking to each other in videos and commenting and talking to them. I like to talk to Joe Rogan and these people as if they can hear me. I talk to them all like, I'm always commenting. Like, and I have a really clear vision that I will be eventually on their shows talking to them. Like, that's where my brain is at, because they're all just trying to figure shit out, and like they want new perspectives. They want different ways of seeing. Like Bill Maher always kind of misses some. Like, there's just, so that's, I know it sounds crazy and egomaniac, but I think that you can handle what I'm saying, and that it's okay
I
to
do.
have
I totally.
a vision of that. But like those, like, so eventually when you and I have talked enough, we're gonna want to talk about other, I don't, that's how I kind of, but I am not organized yet. I'm getting my brain straightened out, and like I have a string of videos I want to comment on, and that's going to bring us traffic, because you comment, and the YouTube comments are huge, right? People read that stuff. It's not nothing.
Yeah,
and
right.
in that comment link to the video comment.
Right.
So and I am
Okay.
I'm a little typer. Like, I'm really good with the little words and commenting and kind of being a weirdo, and like, but I've just been afraid and like holding myself back. So that's where the circling becomes really important, because the circling is the reason I'm even able to be doing this with you, that I have my life, that I'm not like stuck in drama all the time, that I can actually talk to the bigger picture and not just be stuck in my own personal tragedy that I had when I lived in Hollywood. Because this truth that I have now was there in the 2000s, but I didn't have the ability to get out of my own way.
Yeah, but now you're ready. Now here we are doing it.
Yeah. So I'm just sharing.
Okay.
I think you already knew all that, but I don't know. As we're figuring out what channel and marketing, where it's all gonna fall.
So I have your channel up right here, and it says share a JoyCry, and it's for circling, because it says circling, and it says what is circling with Lala.
Yeah.
So think about what name you want to put on here. So this is good. So keep this, but let's choose a better name.
I think what we've been talking about, can I change it to circling energy or circle? Like, I think I want to use one of those names for my
circling energy. Circling energy is great.
So I'll just rebrand that as circling energy.
So lock that down, circling energy.
And just none of it is mine. If we work on it together, I am not a selfish person with money. Like you're starting this with me. You can have, you know what I mean? My head's, you can have the money. I trust you to be fair, but I'm not like oh, that's my channel. Like, I can sign it over to you. Like, you know what I mean? Just so you know. Like, I'm not doing this for the money.
Do you, well, as being male, I have no choice. I literally am forced to do.
Yeah, and you didn't
almost everything.
You didn't inherit a house, so you don't have the ability that I have.
I'm happy by myself, but I also like to have like a partner. But it's just, as old as I am, with so many years of existing on this planet, it's impossible, and has proven to be impossible thousands of times, that you can't really have a partner without having money. It's just, so like, as a man, you're forced, like you have to play this game. So it's either be a hermit, which is why some men go live on caves, or they just get off the thing. But if I want to live in a nice city, and I wouldn't have any type of partner at all, there's no way around it. I have to. So I technically have to admit that I'm doing
I
this part of
believe
it.
I believe that is true for you, but I
Yeah,
don't
it's
know
an
that it's
unfortunate.
true. I don't
It's
know
so
if it's true
it's
because
so
I've had
unfortunate.
so
It's so
many
I know.
partners that I've had
It's like
no
I'm
money.
it's this horrible trap. It's just a horrible trap. So
I'm
if I want to have a
like,
girlfriend, you have to have money. Like there's just it's like it's like together, you know. It's like the chicken, the egg came from the chicken, you know. It's just it just works together. So I can't do anything about it. So I can't say I'm not doing it for the money. I'm doing it for the money. So
I want you to do it for the money because the money will motivate you to get us the hits, and I'm doing it for the hits. I'm doing it for the to get
well
my
here,
voice heard. So if you're not motivated by money, we've got nothing because then who cares if we get hits? So
yeah.
like,
Well, let me tell
I
you the plan.
love that you're motivated by money. So like I'm happy for it to be like, hey, 60-40, your favor. You know, I'm happy 70-30, your favor. Like whatever it like, you know, tip me, like take it all, like, give me a tip. Like
Okay.
I'm in
Do
it
you
for that.
do you know how to edit?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Perfect. Awesome. Okay. Perfect. Okay. So
I'm rusty, but I took Final Cut Pro classes and I've been editing. I mean, I'm rusty, but once I get into it, I kind of like it. I'm a little bit of a math nerd and some of it like it's math like.
okay. So here's the plan. Rebrand this to Circling Energy.
That's that one.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay. And you're also going to get the Instagram account,
A different
Circling Energy.
another Instagram.
Yes, another
Dr.
Instagram.
JoyCry. Okay.
Okay, you got to get that. And then get the Gmail, circlingenergy@gmail.com.
Okay.
You
I'm
have to get those, you have to get those three things.
go to
And
my
then one more thing.
yeah.
One more thing you're going to get. You're going to get the link tree,
Okay, and a link tree with all that.
which is also at Circling Energy. So you have to get all of those.
And how much are websites? You said you're
That's
looking up, you had websites in your cart.
Yeah, but the thing is no, the website, go ahead and get that then, because that's where we make the click funnel. And that's where we can sell the pamphlets and stuff like that for training on how the process is of circling. So we do need that because that's what we would
Yeah, we don't want
also.
anyone to get it in the midst of all this branding, but how much are websites? Like I can pay for it.
Well, I have, okay, well, I'm just going to get it right now. Let me see, hold on. Let's see if it's still in my cart. Oh, I got Circling Techniques. So I'm going to get rid of that because I don't really like it.
Yeah, it sounds like we're just teaching steps to circle. We want to go bigger. Circling energy is what it's about, because we want the energy of circling is a word that just that encompasses like presence, connection, truth, authenticity. You know, being a great human.
Okay, let me spell it to you to make sure I spelled it right. Ready?
Yes.
CirclingEnergy.
Yes. And I really want that to be like the banner video right now. If it's spelled out. I love that.
of me reading it out.
Yeah, that made me so happy. Welcome to.
Well, okay. Well, this is what's funny about that. We just bought it. We own it now.
Okay.
This is what's funny about that. When I was going to the other task, because now you're going to be helping me with this. We're going to get much further now working together like this.
Yeah.
Is that we did talk about circling off and on through our thing, because that's what we're going to do. We're going to touch on it.
Yeah, and I haven't really circled you yet. That wasn't really it, but we're going to do it again.
Okay, cool. I look forward to it. We did a little bit on the last call, but we have touched the subject again here, and we're also building it.
Yeah.
As an editor, the only part I'm saying for your help is I'm going to edit everything down, titles, make it clean up the audio, all that type of stuff, the edits and stuff for our full, you know, like I said, we're going to make it section 1, 2, 3, however it is in 30-minute slots. And then we're going to go leapfrog our channels, right? We'll do that. But on the circling, because you're going to be primary on the circling, all those the channels, is I want you to do the editing and edit out of these series the stuff we're circling. You can make clips on it.
Yeah.
And
And
then you're gonna put that,
I started that video circling with Lala. I'm gonna continue making videos on what is circling and with
yes,
you or whatever, but
perfect.
that like I love trying to dissect what it is because it's like a mystery. It's like undescribable and like not, it's neurologically changing pathways, but like they don't know how or why. It's just fascinating, the whole thing.
Yes, absolutely. Yes, exactly. All of the above, agreed.
I want to chat about it. And it's so not mainstream that it's kind of exciting, you know,
Yes.
very,
Well, you got the plan now, so you're
yeah.
gonna lead
All
that.
right.
You're gonna be leading that.
Mhm.
So
Mhm.
make sure you get all those today before we lose them. Got the domain and you get all the. So read back to me the ones that you're gonna be getting.
You are chippy chopper, choppy chipper. You got confused.
Renaming YouTube.
Yeah, that's in my Chrome.
What?
I'm just talking to myself. That YouTube is in my
Oh.
Chrome. That's
Oh, one more. Add one more.
all that. One more. Do we need like a Twitter or anything like that?
Facebook page.
Oh, I don't know. I gotta learn how to do that.
That's easy. You just go to page and say create new, and then you own it under your account. So you own your account and then you own a page. And then I guess the Twitter, right? Yeah. So let's just do Twitter.
Here. Okay, so name on circling. What am I going to be? Dr. JoyCry as the name, and then the handle will be circle
What do you
circle.
mean? No,
That's just
on
basically
on the
circle.
YouTube channel.
Yeah, circling energy is the name. There's no human name. Wait,
Yes, there's no human name. It is
wait,
just
circling energy. Energy second.
yeah. What email are you using for that account?
I have to look. Hold on, let me just finish circle. So when we do it on the name part, when it's not a handle, do we do a space, circling and space energy, 2 words?
Yes, right.
Let me save this. That's a you push publish. Let's see if it lets me. Now with that email and this account, this is where I get confused because then it's like, is that my Google?
Well, it's a Gmail. I just don't know what Gmail account you have it under.
Where do I find that
In the
content?
top right hand corner on your Chrome, it shows you what you're logged into with Gmail. On YouTube, it shows you at the very top right corner of YouTube. It has your
Yeah,
picture.
your channel, YouTube, switch account. Do I go to? I'm clicking on that. I click on my little thumbnail. Switch.
Then it says manage your Google account.
Oh, it's joycry27@gmail.
Okay, cool. And then okay, that's fine. Just curious
Did
what
I
it is.
change that?
No, you can't change that because you already own this channel under here. I don't know. Maybe
I can
you know
start
what? I
over.
don't know. I haven't done that. I haven't done that yet. But when people sell a YouTube channel,
Mhm.
I'm wondering if they have to then give up that email address
Hmm.
or whether YouTube allows you to move channels between accounts. I do not know. We'll have to do research on that.
Under this, oh wait, let me just, you're on your phone, you can't really see. Under this account, it still says share a JoyCry because I think that's my Google name there. It says circling energy, I got that. And then I have an old YouTube called My Name's Yvonne that's connected to that Gmail as well. I don't know how to unlink that.
So for right now, because I got to go. Let's just save time on that.
Okay.
Forget about that. I'm just saying worst case scenario right now. I know people do sell YouTube channels.
I'm
wondering if they have to give it up with the email or
right.
to move channel.
Hey,
Either way.
if I have to give up that email, I'm fine with it. That's not a main email. It's fine. That email can be, I can sell that email.
Okay. Yeah. Well, here's 16. Here's 6 things you're going to do. You ready?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. the Facebook page,
Yep. 1,
the link tree,
2.
the YouTube channel,
3.
the Twitter,
Twitter.
the Gmail,
Mm-hmm.
the Gmail,
A 5.
and the Instagram.
Got it.
So all those other things that you're gonna set up, like the link tree, the Twitter, the Insta, use that email.
Use the JoyCry 27 email.
No.
Oh, use the new email for everything else.
The new
Okay.
Gmail,
Step
yes.
1. Step 1 is the new Gmail.
Yeah, step 1 is a new Gmail. Now on the YouTube later, we're gonna find out whether we can move it. And on Facebook, the account that creates it owns the page. So that one doesn't matter. It should be owned by your Yvonne Gmail. I'm sorry, your Yvonne Facebook.
Okay, yeah.
Okay. And those are easy to transfer because you just basically make someone else an admin and then you remove yourself and it moves.
Okay.
So that's fine. That's just the way it works. And then we can just share the password to that Gmail. And that way we could both have access to the Instagram and the Twitter
Now,
and the link
do I
tree.
need to, I should sign out of all my accounts on Google and start fresh because it gets all connected. I don't know why all these accounts are connected.
Well, it's fine that it's connected because that's the way it works when you, on the top right hand side, when you use Google, you can just swap, you can just switch accounts.
So just add another account. I don't have to sign out of everything, just add another account.
It automatically signs you out unless you open another tab or another instance of, you can open a new window and it has it separate. So you can log into multiple, which is, I think it's called a profile.
It says for myself, for my child, or to manage my business. Keep it just person, or do I make a business Gmail?
I can't remember what the benefits are of doing it with the business. I think, but yeah, you have to do personal because it's going to charge you for business. Because on a business, you get charged, you get more space. You can have collaborators, and then we can also add a domain and stuff like that. But we're not going to deal with all that.
Okay, and then when I make this
Like
this email of circling energy, what's my name? Circling energies. Circling is the first name, and energy is the last name.
Correct.
Okay.
And you will have to, I think, give it a phone number. So just give it any number, it doesn't matter. And then when you set up the Gmail, you also get the free phone number through Google Talk.
Okay.
Which later we could use for business because we'll be able to add that to Instagram. Anyway, that doesn't matter. That is already going to be locked in there. We'll worry about that later.
So use my phone number now? And do you have a suggestion
it's going to ask you for a number
password? Do you have a suggestion of a password we can both remember? Do you want me to use a certain password?
No, just make one up and put some funny characters in there for safety, and then.
Okay. Cool.
Okay, cool. So then we have the circling now, and that's good. I'm glad we got the name, we got the domain, we got it all. You're just going to edit it out, put it in there, and then we're going to put the other work on both our channels. And now we've all the structure, which is the foundation for everything we're doing, is now done.
Okay.
Which feels really good because now, literally, we should start getting to like editing. So that password you gave me, I haven't logged in yet. That's the same channel. It has all the Zooms in there.
Yeah. That's the
Okay.
log home to home. It's a weird, I didn't mean to use my home. I manage my bills and my shit with that. I don't know why I set up Zoom with that.
Oh, it's the same email. Well, it's a separate email with its own password though.
Yeah. Well, you just log into Zoom. You don't need the email. Is just the login. You don't.
It's just logging into Zoom is all.
Yeah.
But it actually on Zoom.
But Jeff and I share that account for the business, so he can see all of our. But he's fine.
Oh shit! He's probably gonna watch it at some point.
Well, he can see. He can see me from in the house recording right now. It's like it's not like he doesn't know what I'm doing. No secret. He didn't want to do this with me. I wanted anyway. We'll talk later. I'll let you go.
Okay. All right. Okay, good. With the foundations done, we're good. My next priority is to set up my Mr. Concise and clean up my act. And then from that, I'm going to then have my place where I can put these videos on. So I've got to do that first.
Can I use your number right now and get a code from you to set this up? Or do you really want me to use my phone number?
No, just use your number. It doesn't matter because they just want to validate that we're human is all.
Okay. I usually
it doesn't matter.
give my number to them. But all right. You think it's safe? They're not going to get more. I already have enough spam calls.
No, you're not going to get spam from Google for this. No.
And then a recovery email address.
Just use one of your other ones. So just to do a wrap up before I get off,
Okay.
you're handling this for Circling Energy. So we've got the channel. Then we've got Dr. JoyCry, and we have Mr. Concise, which are going to be us. And then all the open forum that we're doing, we're going to put on both channels.
Mhm.
And what I'm going to do now is I need to set up and rebrand. So I got to do that first. Then I have a video that I've got to get out that I'm going to put onto Mr. Concise, which I'm then going to share to my other social media.
Okay.
So even though we've got this other social media, we're going to be able to share from our new main accounts now. So Dr. JoyCry would be your new main social media. And from there, you can then share it to your other ones. So like on Micheal Godinez, right? My Instagram, I'm going to get my story. I'm going to email it. Just to understand what I'm doing here. I'm going to start using Mr. Concise as my main Instagram. And then I'm just going to send it as a message to my Micheal Godinez, which is where all my friends are now. And then I'm just going to share that as a story. So my stories now are only going to come from Mr. Concise. So people are going to start to see that I'm using this as my main account now. And that's the way I'm going to handle it.
Okay. So when I roller skate and do my silly stuff, I'm going to do Dr. JoyCry, and then everything circling related is on the circling thing.
Yes, exactly.
Okay.
Yeah, exactly.
I use my phone number, but I'm going to use your birthday. September 1 or 3? 1.
September 1.
Okay.
September 1.
1972. I'm going to screenshot this.
So this is the order of my things. I'm going to set up my rebrand. I have a video I've got to get out first. So I need to make that on YouTube, and then I have to make it 9:6 or 9:16 for all the social media. And then I need to push that out on all my channels. And then from there, I'm going to then start working on our videos.
Okay. And the website didn't cost anything?
The website's only $12 for the first year. Probably the next year will be like 25. It doesn't matter, but we'll just get there.
Okay. I signed up and it crashed out on getting the Google number. So I'm logging into the email now. Gmail is the hardest one, and I got the rest. Mac wants to access all this stuff, right? We allow it to do everything email related.
Yeah, it's fine. Yeah.
It keeps saying there's an error. Please try again in 30 seconds. I have so many Gmail accounts. Maybe it's mad. It's like, stop.
No, it's not. Okay, cool. So that's a progress. So we have enough work to do now with editing and getting everything going that we can start to put stuff on our channels. So let's just stop recording for now. Okay. And let's get all this video and everything going and get what we've done we've done so far. The work we've done so far, let's get it on these channels and do all this before we film another one. Okay. Cool. But we could do like maybe a short one of like, hey, this is what we've done so far. This is what's done, stuff like that. It's more like a little small like Zoom meeting that we can then use. Okay. But not a large open forum. Let's make our next one just about building all this and putting it together and getting it going. Cool. Okay. And then and then after I make some more how-to circling, I'll circle you again. Yeah. Okay. Cool. Yeah. And then you can put those on the circling channel. Try it without any stories about anything going on, just real presence. But I loved hearing your stories. It's all good. But it's a whole new. We'll see what happens. All right. Well, we'll see you soon, and we'll talk soon. And something just. Yeah. I think I was in Safari and it didn't like it. So I logged in circling energy to Chrome and it works fine. So I'll email you. Oh, what is your email? Because I have your very old emails.
What's your main, how do I email you right now?
Micheal Godinez 3RD at Gmail.
Godinez 3RD, third.
So that's the number 3RD
Cool. And we just,
at Gmail.
hello. Okay. Cool. Sent you an email from the Circling Energy email.
Cool.
And the password is God 2023 exclamation point.
Well, okay, we're now on this YouTube channel.
Oh. We'll see,
It's gonna go beep.
end right now so I know to cut it.
It's gonna go beep beep. See, that's what I'm saying. We have to literally. That's why this takes so long. We're now, even though this took an hour. How long we've been recording?
I don't know, 2 hours maybe. What time do I
Yeah,
can
which
text?
you
Is it
have to
4?
watch. Doesn't it show you on your screen?
No.
So this is what's interesting, or it's just so you understand, is that now we're gonna have to watch that's why we have to watch the whole thing to make sure what we said is okay to put. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, especially personal names. I don't want to cut some of that if we talk about people.
Yeah, so we have to literally with a.
But if we end now, it'll be easier to cut the very end password thing right now.
Well, if we remember, we have to then take notes as,
I
we said.
already wrote notes on today's session, so I'll write it. I'm going to take notes on all of our sessions because it's just the holotropic breathing, and I'll put cut the end of password.
Okay, cool. Perfect. We're starting to get this down so we can start pumping these things out.
Yeah, because I'm going to take notes. I'm going to have one notebook with everything in the same spiral notebook so papers won't fall out. All right, well, I'll let you go. Get to work on the other stuff.
Okay.
Ciao.
Ciao.